Hey everybody, welcome back to creating scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator in our Fairfield in build series. I believe this is video 14. I'm sure you guys are getting all worn out. Alright, so what are we doing today? Today we are working on some texturing. So last time we did some texturing with our model, and I did add the canopies at the end of the doors, at the end of the wings for the doors. I did that off screen. Today I keep mentioning that we're going to do these air conditioning vents, and I never do them. So today we're going to do the air conditioning vents. And we are going to add in a few, what do we call them? Parallax windows. That's what we're doing. And then, if we have time, we'll do the roof. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the roof yet with an aerial photo, but we can. All right, so let's get started. So first of all, we need some pictures that we can use for images, and let's start with the air conditioning vents. All right, so I am going to bring up my browser. All right. Let's add a new, and here this is the point where you just get on the internet and look for images that you want to use as texturing. All right, in this case I'm going to say air conditioner exterior wall grid. Notice that I've already done it before, so okay, and we're going to go images, and we're just going to find something that looks good. All right, and right off the bat, this is a 30-inch by 20-inch. Doesn't really matter the size because we're going to scale it to the faces that we're applying it to. And I am, yeah, there's just tons of them. You're just going to have to find something that looks relatively the same. And I actually like this one. It's close enough. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to save that. That's basically what I did. I've already done it. All right. Now let's look for some other images. We want to put some images in the room windows, so when you're passing by you can see the inside if you wanted to. I did another video a while back on doing parallax windows, so you might want to check that out, but we're going to repeat the process. But I'm looking for interior rooms, but I don't want the window. And most of the time these marketing people for the hotels, and it's understandable, they take the picture from the door. All right, so you can see the inside of the window, inside the room, and see the window and your view, that kind of stuff. But for modeling, I want the opposite. I want them to take the picture from the window location, so I get the door. All right, so when the people look inside the room, it looks like you're looking from the outside in, right? Okay, so anyway, there are a few, and you don't have to use Fairfield in pictures. You can use any hotel that you want. Just find a picture that's really good enough. And I do have some, but I don't want to waste your time for me scrolling through here looking for them. But I do have some on my drive that I'm going to use. Like, here's one that's close. The door is over here on the left. But anyway, find the image, and like I said, you want from the window inside, looking at the door to the room. That way it will look more realistic. All right, so anyway, I do have some, okay, but I'm gonna have to convert them, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. All right, so let's pretend that we already found a picture of some pictures of some rooms. Also, I want to get a picture of a lobby. So I'm going to type in lobby. There we go. Get some images of the lobby, because what I want to do is this location here, this goes into the lobby, but from the back way, and then this extension here I believe is a swimming pool. So from the front door, you want something to put over these windows here to kind of gives you the illusion of looking into the lobby. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but at least as well as you can get it. All right, so let's go back into our browser to our lobby pictures, and I'm looking for straight on pictures, not angled pictures like this and this. You want to try to get especially when you're doing your parallax windows, you want to get straight on views as well as you can. And I kind of like this one, but I also want the front desk. So I did download some, but like I said, I don't want to take a lot of time. Like, here's kind of a good one right here. You got the desk on the left, and you got some seating area on the right. So you can click that image. May not be perfect. It's a pretty good size, but you can right click it and then save that image and save it to where you have all your prototypes. Now this is coming across as a JFIF, and basically a JFIF is the same as a JPEG, but I already have one called images 2, and I need an images 3, and I'm gonna just replace the FIF with a PG, so I have a JPEG. Alright, but when I bring it into the sim, it's not going to be, when I bring it into Blender, it's not going to be a JPEG. I'm going to convert it to a PNG or PNG. Here's a good one, and I believe I have a version of that one already. So you can, like I said, try to get a straight on view, something that's that corresponds with the direction of your model. All right, and then the hardest one, to be honest with you, is I want one of the swimming pools. So I'm going to do swimming, and I already have, went ahead and downloaded one. It's not perfect. It's good enough for what we're going to be showing in this video. But problem with swimming pools, unless you're getting pictures of Olympic-sized swimming pools, they always take the picture at an angle, because I mean, understandably, they're doing it for marketing. They want you to see the space, and they want to get the pool in, and it's hard to get a pool straight on from the side view, this side view, not the end view. And so they do it at an angle. So you want to find a pool that is as straight as possible. Like here is, this one's not too bad. This one's not too bad, but it's the wrong side. This is the end. Well, actually, both of them are in the end. I'd really like one from over here, but we're not going to get them. At least I can't find them, and I don't want to really take too much time doing it, especially for this video. All right, so because our setup is kind of, actually, it's like this one here in a way. You can't see it, it's off the screen. Whoops, I don't want to do that. There we go. But our building annex where the pool is, it has 3 sets of windows on the side with 3 panes, kind of like this. All right. So you're trying to find something that looks that way, but you don't want the windows because you want it from the outside looking in. So, like I said, pools are probably the hardest to find because they're always at angles. This is kind of what ours looks like right here, with the 3 sets of windows on the outside. If we look at our model, let's whip around here. See, we have 3 sets of 3 windows there. Okay, that's kind of what we're looking for. But like I said, I'm just trying to give an example. I don't know what I'll do with my final model, but let's go back to that real quick. So anyway, find the best image that you can that approximates the view that you want to create for your indoor pool. See, ours looks like this right here. See the three sets of triple windows. This is the pool space that we want. So I wish we had a picture coming from the windows this way, but obviously these are marketing videos, not Blender modeler videos, images. Anyway, I downloaded one that I think I'm going to use for the tutorial. So let's go over to where those are. Okay, so in my prototype folder, here's a room. I know there's small icons on the screen for now. I have a JPEG of this room right here. I have a picture of our grill that we're going to be using. And here's another interior room and another one. I think I used these for a different hotel. But we can use these, and here's the lobby picture that we got, and here's another one. This is actually lobby 1 is the one that I'm going to use. And then I have a kind of a straight on shot of the pool that will do our best. It's not going to look great, but all right. Now these are JPEGs, and this is a web image that we need to convert to a PNG. So I'm going to move this off of the screen, and we're going to convert that swimming pool picture first. So I'm going to open up GIMP, and I already have it open. So let's open up GIMP, and I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go Open, and then we're going to go into our Microsoft Flight Simulator projects, prototypes, Fairfield, there. Okay, and there we have our pictures. Here's the pool. Okay, and I'm going to open that, and that's a web picture. All right, and I'm going to convert. Okay, it's going to look pretty lousy in the model. I just know it is. All right, it's just too big, but I need to convert this. So I'm going to go to, I want to change the size. The current size is, what is the current size is 2280 by 759. And I want to change that. I want to change it to a size that's divisible by 4, obviously. But I also want to make sure that it's kind of in the same aspect ratio. So I gotta get my calculator to do some calculating. Okay, so the aspect ratio of this image is almost 3 to 1. Alright, so I'm going to image, and I'm going to scale the image, and I'm going to do it by pixel. And I do not want these linked, but anyway, 2048, they are linked. See how it's makes it 682, which is the same aspect ratio as the default image, but 682 is not divisible by 4, but 680 is. So it'll change the aspect, just whoops. It'll change the aspect ratio a little bit, but not much. All right, so we're going to go 2048 by 680. And then I'm going to go ahead and scale. All right, so it's not too bad. All right, then I want to export. And we're exporting that, and we're going to just rename this file to swim.png. Okay, then we can close that out, don't need it anymore. And then we can open up another image. So let's go open, let's do our lobby 1. So I'm going to open that. And I'm using GIMP for this. I could use Krita, but I don't use Krita for doing my conversions of a lot of my images. I can. There's nothing wrong with it, and it works great. But faster doing the converts with GIMP than I am with Krita. I do Krita for the artwork. All right, so this makes a good lobby. All right, but the aspect ratio, okay, we have 1366. And we're going to divide that by the 768. And that gives us an aspect ratio of 1.77. All right, so I need to get this. I'm going to 13, we're going to bump this up to 2048, and we're going to multiply that by 1.77. No, we're going to divide it by, let's see, we're going to 2048 divided by 1.77. That gives us 1157, but that's not divisible by 4, so we need to find one that it is. 2048. All right. But 1156 is divisible by 4. All right, so we're gonna go to image, scale, and unlink those two. Make our, whoops, we don't want it that big. 2048 by 1156, and then we're going to scale. I don't like that. No siree. Alright, so let's go to edit, undo, scale, because I want to keep it this way. Oh, wait a minute. I just needed to zoom out, didn't I? Sorry, let's try this again. Let's make it 2048 by, unlink those, 1156. Scale. Oh yeah, I just need to zoom out. My bad. All right, so let's go to view, zoom out, fit the window. Yeah, that'll work. 2048 by 1156. All right, now we're going to do a file export as, and we're going to make this lobby1.png and export it. All right, now I'm gonna go to the room pictures, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but I'm gonna do it off screen, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have my images. I have a few images converted to PNGs, and I also actually did the grill as well, but because that was a JPEG, brought it in. Made the image size divisible by 4. Alright, so that's what we're going to work next. So I'm selecting the grills, and in order for this to happen, there is a plugin that you could download, or should download. It's called Text Tools, and there's a link in the description. It's free. It's Text Tools 1.5, and that allows, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but it allows you to work with different texturing aspects of UV, of creating UVs, okay, unwrapping stuff. All right, so it's called Text Tools 1.5, and remember, you go to Edit, go to Preferences. Once you download the zip file, you'll go to Install, and then you'll migrate over, and I have a folder called Text Tools, but I also have the raw zip file right here, Text Tools 1-1_5 zip. Select that and then enable it. All right, that you're going to need for this next portion. All right, so I have all my grills selected. Okay, and if I go into UV editing and hit A to select all the windows, I mean all the grills, see how they start up here. All right, and then I'm going to go to UV and Smart UV Unwrap, and notice that I get all of these grills separate like this. All right, now problem is, if I go to Island Select, I can select each individual one, but I have one grill image, and I don't want to have to create one face and then copy that all over the place, right? Because they're all using the same image. All right, so if I go with that Text Tools open in this left pane of the UV editing, you'll notice that we have the Text Tools, right? So if I hit A and select all those islands or all those faces, and I go to Text Tools, and I go to UV Layout, and if I hit this Align Vertices, Edges, and Shells, I have now stacked every one of those individual faces on top of each other. All right, so for instance, if I click out here and select this face, and let me turn off snap for a second, and I hit G and move it, see there's another one right underneath it, right? Okay, so now all my faces are stacked on top of each other, so every UV face will get the same mapping. All right, so that is what Text Tools, that's just one basic use for Text Tools, and there's a whole bunch of UV tools out there that you can use, such as UV packing and all this kind of stuff. Some of them cost money. Text Tools is free, so that's why I'm showing it here. All right, because we like free resources. It's a hobby. We don't want to spend too much money. Now, if you're a commercial developer, that's totally up to you. Okay, but if you use free tools, that's more profit for you, I guess, right? Anyway, I digress. So I got my faces all stacked on top of each other, which is what I wanted to do to begin with. All right, now we need to bring in our image. So I'm going to come over here to our materials, and I'm going to click Add New Material, and we're going to call this Grill. And then I'm going to come down to the MSFS parameters, and I'm going to choose Standard. And I am, you can do both sides if you wanted to, but I'm not going to in this case. And we're going to come down to the base color, and I am going to, oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to copy those into my model lib textures folder. Let me do that and I'll be right back. Okay, those are copied in. All right, now I can come down here to open, and let's go into our textures folder, which is the model lib textures folder for our project, and I should have those in here. And what are we working on right now? The grill. All right, so I'm going to come down here. There's our grill PNG, so I'm going to select the grill, and open that up. All right, now they're turned sideways. And if we look at our image, notice how each one of them is almost exactly the same, right? Except we need to rotate these. So I'm going to select all. I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. And then I'm going to hit S to scale, and we're going to scale every one of them. See, we're scaling every single one of them all at the same time. Okay. Then I'm going to scale in the Y just a tad. So I'm going to slide that up so we're like that. Okay, and see how our grills are showing up in our image, every single one of them, because every face is stacked on top of each other. And let's move GY, and let's just kind of move these to the right a little bit, kind of center that up just a tad. And there we go. We have finally our air conditioning vents. So we can kind of zoom in, and there's our vents underneath our windows. All right, so let's do a save. So yeah, that text tools is great for, you know, stacking like faces on top of each other. It does a lot more, but that's all we're going to use it for in this case. All right, now let's go and do a parallax window. And remember, the process for doing parallax windows is the same for every image that we're doing. Okay, I'm going to take a break, and I will be back shortly. Okay, we're back after break. Now, so we did our grids. I think they're upside down. Yeah, they're facing the other way. No big deal. Let's go back to UV editor. Select all. Rotate 180. And now they should be all facing down. Yeah, excellent. All right, not excellent, but good enough, right? All right, hey, let's do a room. And what I'm going to do is, I'm trying to think, each one of these windows are separate. Trying to think, are they? Let's go, let's tab into edit mode. Let's go to face. Okay, so each one of those pane glasses are separate, all right? But what I want to do is to add a parallax. Remember, parallax needs to have a front glass, right? But I'm going to take these two panes, and for now I'm going to separate those out. I'm going to call this glass, because we'll probably not use them. All right, now let's let me tab out. Yeah, let me select the frames, tab back in, and then I'm going to turn on vertice, and I am going to select these four inside edges of the frame, just like that. So only those four vertices are selected. And then I'm going to fill that in with make that a face itself. Then I'm going to hit P, make that new face a new selection, and tab out of edit mode. Bet I don't have my screencast on, do I? Sorry, my bad. There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to select that new face, and I'm going to call this main room parallax. Okay, and then I'm going to come down, I'm going to, with the main room parallax selected, I'm going to disassociate that glass texture. And I need to just get rid of that frame texture that also gets assigned to it. Alright, so I have two on top of each other. So I need to turn off our glass. Main winds glass. Let's turn off that because I get some interference with that. Alright, so now I have a face to apply that parallax window material. Okay, and I want to get rid of these empty slots in the material. Alright, so we're going to do a new material, and we're going to call this room. That's good enough for now. Then we're going to drop all the way down here to MSFS materials and do a parallax. Okay, and for the for the front glass color, we need an image, right? And I don't have one made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to make one of these. I forgot about that. So I'm going to open up Krita, and we're going to do a new file, and we are going to make it 2048 by 2048. Create a new one, and then zoom out a little bit, and we're gonna create a box around that whole thing. Outside doesn't really matter because it's only gonna take what's inside the image. Then we need a color, so I'm gonna choose this color, and we're gonna kind of go to brown windows. Alright, and I'm going to move down the opaqueness to like 30%. Oh, I'm going to have to do that again. Go to my fill bucket. Now turn it down to about 30% or less, or it's up to you. And then I'm going to click paint. Alright, and I'm going to turn off, I'm going to get rid of the selection box, and I'm going to turn off the background. So this is the color of our glass. Alright, and I'm going to file export that out to our ModelLib texture folder, scenery, version 3. Where is it? There it is. CMH version 3, buildings, package sources, ModelLib texture folder, and give it a name. We're going to call this brown glass.png. Oh, I already have one. No, I don't want to replace that. Let's call it brown glass 2. I guess I already had one in there for a different hotel or model. Okay, so minimize Krita. Now we can come over here, and with the room face parallax face selected, let's go into UV editing, hit A to select all, period on the number pad to focus in on that one window, and we're around this side here, and we're going to do a UV smart. Okay, and we're going to rotate this 90, I hope, and we're going to move it in the X so it lines up here. Alright, now we need to add in our front glass color, which is in our textures folder now, and that's brown glass 2, right? There's brown glass 2, there's brown glass. So select that. So now we have our brown applied to that face, but now we need our parallax. And that's going to be our behind the glass. So I'm going to open texture, and what did I call it? I can't remember. Well, it's going to look like a room. There's our lobby, and there's a room. See, these are some rooms I used for other hotels, but let's select this one, see what happens. I may go back to this one. Click OK. And you're not going to see it in Blender. You won't see it until we get into the sim. So we're going to start with just that one up in the upper right hand corner of the back. Alright. So go back to layout, go to file, save. And if you've noticed that we are working on Fairfield D, because every time I do a major update to a model, I always make a copy, incremental copies, so I have something to fall back on. Alright, so this should have a parallax image in it when we bring it into the sim. Okay. Now we're going to go around front. Is it front? Yeah, let's go around front. And let's do our lobby. But our lobby image, it's going to be squirrely. Alright, our lobby image is going to be the entire size of this window. This is probably going to look funky. Alright, so what I want to do is I need a face. So I'm going to go in with this, with the glass selected. I'm going to go into edit mode, face select, and I am going to shift D to copy that panel, escape so I don't move it, P, selection, and let's call this main front lobby parallax. Okay, get out of edit mode, select our parallax. Now we need to scale it. We need to bring it down here. So let's go into edit mode, turn vertice on, select these bottom vertices. I'm going to turn snap on so I can snap it to the bottom here. And we are going to, with those two selected, we're going to not GY, GZ, and we're going to snap it down to here, just like that. Then we're going to take these two vertices, we're going to move those. Got to change my view here. We're going to move those in the X direction to this corner, G, X, and snap those to that corner. Okay. So there is our parallax. So get out of edit mode, file, save. Now I want to turn the glass off of the main front doors, turn the glass off of our bypass doors, turn the glass off of our inner bypass doors. So the glass of the parallax is being used. Okay, now we need to get rid of the material that's associated with that. So that's dark glass. So I'm going to X, so now there is nothing associated with it. Okay. Now we're going to go new material. We're going to call this lobby parallax. Come down here to the type, make that a parallax, and then come down here to our front glass color and select our brown glass 2. Okay. Might help to do a UV editing, a period on number pad, because I had not created a UV for that. It won't. It's no big deal with the glass color because we just want the color of the glass. It doesn't have to be sitting on there perfectly. So smart UV. There's our parallax window, but let's rotate that 90, and let's turn snap off, and let's GX, move that over, oops, GX, move that over so it lines up with our image like that. Okay, now this lobby image is probably, it's not the same aspect ratio of my face, so it's gonna look smushed. Okay, but you guys get the picture. If you create an image, you can create an image that is the same aspect as the window, then it won't look as stretched and goofy. All right, but let's come down to the behind the glass and add our lobby image that we have in our texture folder, which is right here. Notice the difference in aspect ratio. All right, you can take care to make sure that this aspect ratio is actually the same aspect to this, and there's a way to do that, and that is whatever the proportions of the face that you're using, apply those to your image and rescale your image to those proportions, as long as it's divisible by 4 again. All right, so little quirkiness. So let's open that image, and obviously we're not going to see it until we go into the sim. All right, so let's go back to layout, and let's do a save. And let's come around, and I know that this is going to really suck. Like I said, I wish I had a better swimming pool. All right, so what I'm going to do is I want a parallax of the windows for the swimming pool area. So I'm going to select the frames, tab into edit mode, and I am going to do edge, and I'm going to select this edge right here, and I'm going to shift D, escape, P, selection, period to focus, rename dining, it's not, I called it dining, it's actually the swimming pool area, but that's okay. we'll leave it this name for now. All right, and we'll just say Dining Winds Parallax. Okay. Then get out of edit mode. Select our parallax. Tab into edit mode. Now we want to select this edge. Turn our snap back on. And we are going to extrude that all the way across to this corner right here. All right. So I'm going to extrude in the X to right here. All right. Then I'm going to edge select this top edge. Do I have it? Yeah. And we're going to move this edge until it's up here in this corner. So I'm going to GZ and then snap it up here. Okay. So now I have a big plate of steel going across there. All right. But that's okay. All right, so that's our parallax. So I'm going to select the glass. Let's get out of edit mode. Select our glass and turn that off. That way we don't get that interference. Then select our parallax. And let me, yeah, my scale is 1, so I'm good. Let's go to UV editing. And A to select. Period to zoom in, period on the number pad to zoom in on our focus on our selected object. All right, and then let's go to UV, Smart UV, and get that. And then we're going to rotate that 90 and turn snap off, GX, move that over right there. Okay, and we're going to come down to FS. Oh, we're going to create a new. Let's we need to disassociate the frames material and get rid of that empty slot. Oops, I can't because I'm in edit mode. Let's go to layout. There we go. Now I'm not in edit mode there. Get rid of that empty slot. Let's add a new material, call that swim. Go back into UV editing and come down here and change that to parallax. And our glass front is going to be our brown glass 2. Brown glass 2. Okay. And our behind the glass, I'm going to open that up, go to texture, and find our swimming pool, which is in there somewhere. I think I did. There it is, right there. Click, and open that image. Go back into layout. Let's do a file. Save. Okay. And let me pause for a second. Okay, so we got some parallax windows in. I haven't done all of them. I'll come back and do that for my final version of the model. Okay, but for this tutorial, we got one room up here in the upper right. We got the swimming pool, and hopefully we have the lobby. We'll see how all that does. Okay, I'm not really sure if I followed if I'm correct. All right, and then we have the grills for our air conditioning units. Now what we're going to do is we're going to test this in the sim to see if I need to fix anything. All right, so I did a file save. Let me do another one here. Alright, so it's time to export. Alright, so let me bring up our File Explorer and go into that directory. Hold on. Okay, and we're in the folder. Let me bring that over. Alright, so here is inside our model lib folder, and then I'm going to go into Fairfield. Alright, now I've done an export a while back. Alright, we're working with D, Fairfield D. This is our current model. These are iterations of the model. Alright, so I already have an XML. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to open that up in Notepad++ just so you can see it. So there's our model. It already has a GUID because when I first created this model, I exported it out just to see if the size worked right. Alright, so I've already exported this once. Alright, so we have the GUID. We're not going to replace that. We're going to leave that GUID. Wait a minute. I don't want to just simply minimize. I want to close that. Alright, so we have the XML and we also have the LODs. We have the bin and the GLTF. Alright, but we need to update them. The last time I did it was December 13th, okay, of 2022. Yeah, we've been working on this project for quite a while. Alright, so since I've already have the setup, let's go to the multi-exporter GLTF2 and look at the setup. Notice that I have the collection name is Fairfield _ LOD 00 because that's the most detailed LOD. I haven't added my less detailed ones yet, and we're going to do that in a future video. But I have everything that makes that building up in that collection, that high detail collection. Now, the folder's already been selected of where this model's going, and that's the model lib Fairfield folder. And I have the LOD turned on. I have the generate XML turned on, but I'm not going to overwrite the GUID because the GUID's good because I've used it before. Okay, so if I open up, all right, so here notice that we are December 13th 2022. Okay, for all three of these files, the XML, the bin, and the GLTF. And remember, to get that bin and GLTF, normally you have to do a file export GLTF2 and export it this way first. Okay, and you want the separate GLTF and bin and textures. All right, I've already done that once, so we're going to simply export this again. So I'm going to hit export. Then I'm going to go over to my file folder and notice that everything got updated to today's date, 1/23/23. All right. So our Fairfield in model is updated. Now I need to build this back up. So I'm going to go to the main model folder, the buildings folder, and I'm simply going to take the KCMH BLDG XML. I am going to left click and drop that on the package tools, and hopefully it works. So it's doing the export on my other screen. As soon as that gets done, I'll drag it over. Hopefully it works fine, and I will be back when that's done. Okay, so see what happened. It built correctly. Took a while, took 2 minutes and 11 seconds for this particular build outside of the sim, because I hadn't built it for a while, and I have made a lot of changes to some of the other models. But anyway, we got 0 failed, so that's good to see. Now what we're going to do is take it inside the sim and see how everything went. So I'll hit any key to continue, and I will be right back when we get into the sim. Okay, we're in the sim, sitting in the DC3. Alright, so we're going to Tools, Project Editor, Project, Open Project, the Buildings Project, and load the bugle into the inspector, into the editor, sorry. Alright, take a little bit for those buildings to pop up. There's quite a few in this airport. Not as big as a lot of other airports. There we go. There's the parking garage, and terminal shows up. Alright, now I'm going to zoom out, and then I think that it's not in there yet. That's good. Alright, so there's the 2 previous hotels that I have done. Now we're going to add in the Fairfield and just see how things have gone so far. So I'm going to drop down here to CMH Buildings. Fairfield right there. Let's add. So there is our hotel, but it's just not in the right place yet. Oops. Oops, I keep hitting the window key. No wonder. Alright, let's get a top down and get this oriented correctly. Alright, so let's drag that over to here. Now I need to rotate it. So hit the rotate on the gizmo, and let's give this a little rotation there. Might have to, I don't know, it's looking halfway decent. Alright, so we have the hotel in. Now obviously we haven't made the sign or anything like that, but just to get a look-see on our product, and I don't think my parallax window is, I don't think my parallax windows are working. I might have to, I hate that notification. Might have to do some fixing there. Well, I know I'm going to have to do some fixing, because I am not getting my parallax. Alright, but the building's in there. It's looking halfway decent. Okay, so I'm going to save that scenery, and I'm going to build again. So I'm going to come up here to the main project folder, go to inspector, and this is going to be version 6. So I'm going to 0.6. So I'm going to put a 0.6 there. Hit enter. Then I'm going to do a build project, build package, I mean. Yes. And we have 0 failures. That's good. Close out that, and then we're going to get out of the sim and go back into Blender. Okay, I need to explain. I made some amateur moves. That's why it didn't work. All right. So I need to come back and let you know. Anyway, my sim is having difficulties loading every other time. So anyway, but that has nothing to do with it. That's just a lot of resources on my machine that I'm using. But anyway, I digress. All right, so here's my amateur moves. Okay, this is what I did incorrect the first time I brought this in. Setting up the images is just fine in terms of the parallax windows. All right, make sure that you have backface culling off, alpha clip, and opaque on. All right, what I did first is I didn't give it any emission. Okay, it was black. That makes everything opaque. All right, so click on the emission and move this scale up. All right, that was amateur idiot operator error 1 that I did. Okay, and the other one is make sure that you have your parallax scale set right here. Okay, I have it set for 1. I had that 0. All right, so that's error number 2 that I made. And error number 3, this is the big one, and that's for the lobby. Okay, the room window works and the pool window works in the sim, and I'll show you that here in a second. But my lobby did not, and the reason my lobby did not is because, you know, I didn't give it a background image. All right, so I'm going to go to texture, and I am going to select the lobby, which is right here. Click that, open the image, and that should be okay. Make sure I have my scale set, which is good. All right, and then I'm going to do a save, and then I'm going to re-export. Then we'll get out of Blender, and I'll move back over to the sim, and most likely my image of me on the screen will probably freeze up. So I'm going to shut off the video capture of me so you guys don't need to see my ugly mug. Okay, now we're in the sim, and if we go over to the pool now, yeah, there's going to be some stuff that I need to adjust. All right, you just have to. But if we look inside the window, we can. I don't like the image that I'm using for one thing, but like I said, this is just to get you guys going. So I have that image of the pool, and it's showing parallax. Okay, and as I pan, you can see inside the room. All right, like I said, it's not perfect. It's not perfect because the image isn't that great. But up here in the upper right hand corner, our room is showing up. So if I pan, okay, you can see inside the room. But if I swing around to the front, and we zoom into the lobby, obviously, see, it's opaque because it didn't know, I didn't have an image set, which is, I'm totally embarrassed by that. But I want to see if I can get this to refresh live. So I'm going to open up, go into package sources, model lib, go into the Fairfield, and then I'm going to open the GLTF in Notepad++. I'm simply going to put a space here and then backspace and do a resave. I don't know if I have to rebuild it because it's a parallax if I made a major change, but we're going to see if that refreshes in the sim. I think it just did. And there we go. Okay, now I'm getting the purple box, and the reason it's getting the purple box is because I did not build. It doesn't know the path to the image. So just updating the GLTF didn't work in this case, and I understand that. All right, so my next step is to get out of the sim and then actually build the project. Well, I could build it. No, I can't build it here. Can I build it here? Well, I'm not going to risk it. So I'm going to close the project completely. And then I'm going to get out of the sim and rebuild it and bring it back in and see if that works. Okay, so I did a build outside of the sim and we're back in the sim. All right, yes, I have my picture off. All right, so now obviously I'm going to have to make some adjustments, but I do have the parallax for the front door that gives the check-in counter and stuff like that, so that is working okay. All right, so it's going to give the illusion of interior without having to model the interior. And you know, some things I do interior, sometimes I don't, depending on whether, you know, it's a flight simulator, whether pilots are going to get in there or not, you know, obviously. All right, so we're moving along. This has been a long video, and we've applied some textures to our building. We've added some parallax window effects. We have put our grates, our vents on our air conditioners. So I think what I'll do between now and the next video is I'll go ahead and match up an aerial photo roof of the hotel. Plus I want to put the siding on this piece here and this piece over here. Okay, and I think from this point after this, I mean on the next video, we should, if my simulator behaves itself, we will be inside the sim doing some ground textures and stuff like that. All right, I hope you found something useful in this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Please subscribe if you haven't, and you can buymeacoffee.com/myphysicalworld. You guys have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye.